Welcome to this lecture within the Constitutional Protection and Bill of Rights, and now we are going to see what consent and third-party access means. What is important to realize is that all protections that are warranted under the Fourth Amendment are being waived when you consent. When you say, yes, you may search me, or yes, you may enter my house, or whatever. So that's very important. With consent, all protection goes, so to speak. Also, is that when the Fourth Amendment privacy expectation is also, let's say, diminished or getting less in case you gave voluntarily to third parties access to some elements of your personal information. For instance, bank account numbers or telephone numbers or things like that. So the third party principle is from the idea that when you say yes to a certain company, like a bank or a telephone company, then you are saying, okay, you may use my information for your means of operations, for your banking account facilities or for your telephone services. So the idea behind it is that when you entrust your personal information to a third party, then you are extinguishing your expectation of privacy, so to speak. So when this happens, then let's say the security organization or the police or governmental organizations, they have given themselves the right, so to speak, because of Olmsted and of Katz, that they go around it and say, okay, you have given a third party consent in the sense that you are expecting that they are not using or that they are using the information only for their services, but the law enforcement is then interpreting it in such a way that they are also allowed to get access to that type of information. For the first time, this played a role when you open a bank account, is then the law enforcement allowed to go to the bank and say, okay, can you show me, without the Fourth Amendment protection, of course, and without a warrant, can you give me, you bank, can you give me this teacher's banking information, the slips and everything else? And the United States court, the Supreme Court said, yes, you are allowed, the bank is allowed to give away those records without the warrant. That's came up to that the third party principle allowed the Fourth Amendment protection to be set aside. The next question that came up some years later was whether a pen register, so let's say a device that collects the numbers you are dialing and the length of the telephone conversation and everything you're doing, has the police access or the law enforcement access to those registers, which the phone companies do have. And again, the Supreme Court said, yes, they are allowed to get that without a warrant, because it's the legitimate expectation of privacy under the Fourth Amendment is not hurt. People should know that when giving away that type of information, they also give away the possibility that law enforcement goes to the phone company and says, can you please give me the records? And then 2018, then the US Supreme Court said, stop. It's no longer allowed to use these type of informations. When you say yes to a mobile operator and then law enforcement would like to know where you were during a certain time for checking an alibi or whatever, then no longer, as of 2018, and that's a very important decision done by the Supreme Court, it is no longer allowed for law enforcement to seek phone record without a warrant as being guaranteed by the Fourth Amendment. Thank you for watching this one. The next one will deal with the automobile exception.